Hi there, it's Denise Eckhart, and I love coming on here and sharing different ideas and techniques to help you lower the stress in your life. And you know what? Laughter is one of them. And today I've got Marla Simlet, or as many of you know her as Marvelous Marla. And she's a speaker, an MC, and a registered clinical counselor who helps people learn and laugh their way to becoming their greatest self. Welcome, Marla.
Thanks, Denise. I'm so excited to be here today.
Now, what inspired you to start introducing laughter into people's lives?
Yeah. I've always loved laughter and humor and loved making people laugh. And a few years ago, I was looking for a change. I was working in the corporate world and I knew there was something that I wanted to do differently and trying to figure out what that was. And part of me knew I'd always wanted to make laughter a more formal thing. And I thought maybe that was comedy and maybe that was stand up. So I started doing a little bit of that. But I also wanted to combine it with my therapeutic practice and my role as a counselor, recognizing how laughter helps open people up and loosen them up and lower resistance so that they're open to learning and open to changing their perspective, improving their communication. And so the two, it came to me, it was like I, I almost saw it as a banner, healing in humor. And so I decided that was what I wanted to do, was not only help people heal, which I love, and grow and become their greatest selves, but doing that with bringing in humor as a lightness because it's so intrinsic to who I am.
I love that. Now, what's the connection between laughter and stress reduction?
Yeah. So as stress is a pandemic, if we can say that, in our society, especially now with technology and everything needing to be on and going and going. And as you and most of your listeners probably know, stress is really bad for our bodies and our health, mental health, physical health. It increases the stress hormones. It puts you in this fight or flight state where your brain isn't working as well. There's muscle tension, there's lack of oxygen, and it's not a place to be making good decisions. And unfortunately, a lot of us live in that place all the time. We're the frog in the hot water. If you know that, do you know that metaphor where if you put a frog, if you boil water and you put a frog in it, he'll jump right out because he knows he's not supposed to be there. If you put a frog in hot water and then turn up the heat and turn up the heat, he'll stay there because it's such a gradual. And so I think of a lot of us as that frog where we're in this place of stress and we don't even know we're there and we don't know how to get out. And so laughter is in some ways, the initial antidote to stress because it does the exact opposite. It lowers the stress hormones. It induces the feel-good hormones and endorphins. It allows us to breathe, even though sometimes if you get bursts of laughter, you lose your breath, but that means you have to take in more oxygen. So you're breathing more. And it has so much research on the physical and mental health benefits. So in some ways, I see laughter as the initial step to releasing some of that stress because it puts you in a state where you can think clearer and then make better decisions about what you're doing. So there's an instantaneous response and then a longer term benefit.
And do you find, I know what you mentioned was that we are so connected in technology, and even as scrolling, one minute you can find something funny, and then all of a sudden you're devastated because you find someone passed away or this going on. Now, does laughter actually help you refocus your brain? Does it take it that step back and help you
Yeah.
align?
Yeah. So you've probably heard the expression, what you focus on expands. And that is from an energetic perspective, but also our brains are wired to pay attention to what we are focusing on, what we are dwelling on, and the way our thoughts run. And so if you are looking at negativity, if you're focused on stress, if you're focused on all the things that are going wrong in your life or in the world, that is what you're going to see. If you're focused on the positive and laughter helps you shift to that positive, then that's what you're going to see more of. So when you talk about the scrolling, if you're seeing laughter and you're seeing positive things and you're feeling better, because laughter is really positivity personified in some ways and externalized. You're seeing more of that positivity as opposed to the negativity. And if you stay in that space, that's where what you're going to see more of. It's like the other day I was walking down the street and I noticed a red fire hydrant that I'd never before seen on my street. Like I'm sure it's been there for a while, but then I started seeing them all over town. Like there was a sale at the hydrant store or something. So focusing on something helps it expand.
Now, for someone that's listening, and I know for myself, I have a lot of laughter in my world. How can they start implementing, and not implementing, you can't really implement laughter, but introducing more laughter into our lives?
Yeah. And I would say you had it right the first time. You can
Really?
implement laughter. So I can talk about that a little bit. For laughter, all of us know how to laugh, hopefully, and we know how good laughter feels. And a lot of laughter comes organically. As you said, you have a conversation with a friend, you see something funny, you hear a joke, and it makes you laugh. Part of what you can start doing is noticing when that's happening and starting to so that you can form a checklist of things that make you laugh. A lot of us laugh, but we don't know what we laugh at or why we laugh at it. So starting to make a checklist, starting to make a list of things that you can go to when you need that laughter. So that's the organic piece. The second piece is starting to look externally for things that make you laugh. So if you're having a very stressful day, if you're feeling really down, if you've got anxiety coming up, knowing what makes you laugh so you can go to that. I know that this comedian makes me laugh. I know calling this certain friend is going to make me laugh. Watching pandas roll out of trees in the snow is always going to make me laugh. So that's a go-to that I have as well. So finding those places that you know about because you've identified that. The third piece is intentionally bringing laughter into yourself or into your life in the moment with yourself. And so that's where laughter meditation fits in or laughter yoga. I've actually worked a lot learning how to identify laughter in my body and how it feels. And I can bring that up. So if I'm having, even last night, I have some hormone induced anxiety that often comes up when I go to bed. And I was laying there and I could feel myself starting to get anxious. And so I did some breathing and that wasn't helping. And so I called up that feeling of laughter, which starts in my chest and it feels a little bit like champagne bubbles. And then I allow it to spread and have a smile on my face and started giggling and laughing. And it allowed me to focus on that and release that anxiety. So ways of bringing it in intentionally in the moment. And you don't need, the beauty of laughter is we carry it with us all the time. So you don't need that external trigger to make it happen for you.
I love that. So it's like creating your laughter list because I know the other day I've been feeling
Yeah.
like a little out of sorts. And I tried to go to sleep and it was just like I just couldn't. I had too many things racing in my mind. So I got up and watched that show, Frasier.
Oh, yes.
And I was just like, oh my God. Now I'm like laughing my head off for like hours. And it was like, you know what? This is fun. It's just,
Yeah.
you're just releasing everything. You're not worried about anything. I don't think you can worry and laugh at the same time, can you?
No, that's the other piece. You can't worry and laugh, and you can't hold negative and positivity at the same time. It's
Yeah.
impossible. And I dare people to try it. If you're feeling bad, start watching Laughing Babies or Frasier or whatever it is for you, and you'll see that you can't hold those two spaces. So that's laughter intelligence in action right there, Denise, what you said. And that's a phrase I've trademarked and coined because it's about understanding your own what laughter is for you and how to use it and leveraging it intentionally.
Wonderful. So now you mentioned laughter meditation. What is that all about?
Yeah. So laughter meditation comes from laughter yoga, and laughter yoga was developed. Of course, I'm not going to remember the person's name. Hormone induced brain fog. A person in India who developed laughter yoga as a way for people to improve mostly their physical health. And the premise of it is, and this is true, our brains a lot of times aren't that smart. They can't differentiate between real laughter and I'll call it fake laughter, but more auto-generated laughter. And so laughter yoga is a practice that helps people like you sit in a class, you're not necessarily stretching and doing things, but you're doing laughter exercises where you're actually laughing out loud. And I've done a couple laughter yoga classes and the fake part of it doesn't last very long because once you laugh, especially with other people, it becomes very infectious. And so there's research also to show the benefit of doing that exercise on your physical form, on your emotional health, and your mental health. And so flowing from that laughter meditation, and the way I do laughter meditation is giving yourself a period of laughter, building into that through a meditation. But then I also integrate then that body sense or that body intelligence of starting to feel the laughter in your body and sending that energy out so that you can help that expand out into your life. Because again, what you focus on expands.
I love that. That's so amazing. Is there any way that you could do a laughter meditation for us right now?
Yeah, I'd
That'd be
love that.
awesome.
Awesome. If you're willing to play along and go into the meditation with me, that would be
Absolutely.
great. Okay, just let me have a sip
Great
of
way to
water.
start my morning, anyways.
And the beauty of this is you can do this yourself, or you can record a laughter meditation or listen to a laughter meditation and get yourself in that space when you need to, when there's nothing else that will work.
Now, is there
So,
any prep work that you need to do?
no, sit back comfortably in a position that's comfortable for you. I invite people, they can keep their eyes open or closed. I like to meditate with my eyes closed and just be open and be scent focused. So if you're drifting off, just bring yourself back and know that there's no wrong way to do it and anything that happens.
Wonderful, Marla.
Yeah. All right. So if you're okay with that, I'll start.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We are going to do a laughter meditation, and if you're driving, please don't do it while you're driving. I will mark when the time is so that you can come back to this and enjoy Marla's laughter meditation. We can continue now.
So we always start, or I always start with a breath and 3 breaths in a row. So breathing in through your nose, expanding your lungs, and then exhaling. And breathing in again, bringing in the oxygen and the air through your nose into your lungs, maybe right to your belly. And then exhaling. And one more time, bringing in that air, deep belly breath, and exhaling. And just continuing to breathe at that pace and just being aware of your body for a moment and just grounding in this time and space and this gift that you've allowed yourself to come into this space. So noticing where your body is touching a chair or the floor or wherever you're sitting or laying. Notice those touch points as you continue to breathe. Be aware of the air, the temperature of it on your skin at different places. And just quieting the mind, focusing on your breath, focusing on the touch points in your body. Now from this place, I'll invite you just to bring a gentle smile onto your face. So however that looks or feels for you, maybe the tips of your mouth are coming up a little bit, your cheeks are raising. All the while continuing to breathe and just focus on the feeling of that smile, the feeling of your breath coming in and out. And focus on the breath and the smile. And now just leaning into that smile a little bit, I'll invite you just to bring in a gentle giggle. And making sure you're continuing to breathe as you continue that giggle. And now you might notice or allow that giggle to get a little bigger. Oh, continuing to breathe and allowing that laughter to spread. Just noticing where you're feeling that in your body. Allowing that laughter to die down a little bit, maybe back into that gentle giggle. And and then into that smile, which may feel bigger now. You may feel your cheeks a little bit sore if the muscles are not used to smiling or laughing that much at once. And continuing to breathe and tuning in for a moment as you're bringing this laughter meditation to a close and checking in on your body and how it feels and where you're feeling that continued energy of laughter. Everything is energy. And so you may be feeling it in your chest, in your throat. I still have a giggle or two that wants to come out. Feeling it in your cheeks and your jaw. Maybe even feeling it down into your arms and your belly. And being aware of how that feels, that lightness, that airiness, that positivity. And as you tune into that, I'll encourage you to just, if you can intend for that energy to move outward. It's all intention. So for me, always feels like kind of champagne bubbles and pushing those bubbles out, outside the form, out into your room, into your house, into your day. So maybe it'll feel like you're walking through your day today with a shield of champagne bubbles around you, allowing that positivity of laughter to hold and stay with you. And know that you can come back to this feeling and back to this state anytime you want. You have laughter within you, and it's so easy to generate. And taking a couple more deep breaths, being grateful for this gift you've had today that you've given yourself of laughter. And just starting now to feel the rest of your body, maybe moving your feet a little bit, feeling your fingers. And when you're ready, gently opening your eyes, always gentle with the self. And coming back to this space.
Feel so relaxed now.
Nice. And so how was that for you, Denise, in terms of the laughter? It sounded quite genuine.
It was
Was it
fun.
easy to generate? Yeah.
You've got a very infectious laughter. Yeah, it was fun. And yeah,
Good.
it was just like it's a nice break from the world. That's what I
Yeah.
really liked about it.
Yeah. Nice. Great. Thanks for letting me share that.
When I was younger, I always had this nervous laughter, like in school, and I used to get in trouble all the time. Like my report card said, she laughs too much and she's always laughing.
Oh,
And I was like, I had to sit in the hall because I was disruptive because I was always laughing. Is there a difference between nervous laughter and just regular laughter? Like, I always wanted to know that.
yeah. That's interesting. First, it breaks my heart a little bit that they would say that you're laughing too much. And I hope that little one that had that kind of shame put on her for that isn't still holding that, because it's a gift, that gift of laughter. But I think in terms of nervous laughter, any laughter that we're generating has still has the benefits. the physical benefits and all of those things. Nervous laughter, I think, comes in for us when there's some level of needing to protect ourselves and having learned to use laughter as protection. And I think, Denise, and as women, we use laughter a lot through our lives when we think about it as protection, as a way to de escalate situations, as a way to lighten a room or a situation that maybe it feels like it might be dangerous. And so I think nervous laughter is a good indicator that that's a learned behavior, something, a coping mechanism that probably has worked very well for you throughout your life. And again, I hope that little one hasn't held shame around that because that's a way that helped her cope.
And the thing is, it was an infectious laughter, so people used to get upset because they'd have the whole class laughing.
And
You
that's
know what?
amazing.
Life does not have to be that serious all the
Yeah.
time, and it's crazy.
Yeah. And actually, there's lots of research showing that in educational contexts, that laughter helps people learn better
Yeah.
because it helps open things up. And then you can be more creative, you can be more innovative, you're going to absorb information. There's lots of studies with university students that, after induced laughter, they remember things better, they study better, they perform better. So you were actually doing a service. You should have been on the payroll at that school doing a service for the teachers who maybe weren't getting their point across.
Yeah. Okay, Marla, we're going to be wrapping this up. I'd love for you to share your final words of wisdom with the audience today.
Yeah. Laugh more. Find intentional ways to bring laughter into your life. If anyone's interested, I've actually developed a laughter intelligence assessment, a self-assessment. So it's on my website and it can help you see where there's areas where maybe you can have opportunities to learn more or think more and leverage laughter more. Yeah. And life's too short not to laugh.
Uh,
And so laugh more, be well, and become your greatest you.
Thank you so much for being here today, Marla. And wherever you're watching or listening to this, I will be putting Marla's information. So if you have any questions, please feel free
Mhm.
to reach out and ask Marla your questions. And I'm just leaving you a gentle reminder to slow down and enjoy life with some laughter. And I'll see you in the
Yeah.
next episode.